Hello, and welcome to MrDudeManSir. Today I am playing more Everlasting Summer, and of course, due to popular demand during my straw poll, people wanted me to do Slavya's Good End. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. Right now, I am directly after the tournament of cards that is completely random and stuff. So I had to lose. I had to lose for some reason, and then I had to go to the bus stop. And then there's new text here. So that's happiness, right? New text is great. The events of the past day kept flashing brightly in my head. The danged useless checklist, this stupid tournament. Right now, I don't want to do a single thing or talk to anyone. I don't even want to start thinking about my current situation. I want to be a loner. I came to the square and took a seat on the bench while staring at the Genda statue. Of course, Slavya is probably going to show up here, right? No? Wait, didn't I go to the bus stop? This isn't the bus stop, this is the Genda statue. I don't know how long I was sitting like this, but finally crickets chirping brought me back to reality. I got up and blindly walked in a random direction to the bus stop. Look at that. I predicted the future. The bus stop. Somehow for the second day in a row I find myself at this place because I walked here. Maybe subconsciously I felt that the bus would be waiting for me here to take me back to the real world. Very unlikely. On the other hand, why not? It got dark already. I was just standing there and gazing at the night sky. The astronomy has never attracted me so much as astronautics. Cool. It never has been more interesting to look at the pictures for far-off constellations, nebula, and galaxies made by artists than to try to figure out how to measure angular velocity. I feel like I'm learning science class right now, and masses of stars. But certainly I would be able to find the Great Bear constellation. If I get lost in the snow forest, my only way to find the way out will be that little knowledge about moss growing on the north side of a tree. However, I still don't think that would help to get me out. Remember, look to the moss on the side of the stone. It will lead you back to Bikini Bottom. It will. It was proven. I was about to head back to camp when all of a sudden I caught a noise behind the gates. Who is it this time? Slavya. Oh no, it's a building. Gosh darn building. Why do you have to make noises behind gates? The near clubhouse? It seemed like someone was walking down the path through the forest. It was so dark that I could see nothing but a blurred shadow. I wondered who it could be. So night today. Tonight. A pioneer breaching discipline. Tisk tisk. I followed the mysterious shadow rapidly but still carefully. I was moving from path to path, and after a while I found myself in the depths of the forest, finally losing sight of the stranger. Maybe I should turn back. Is Slavya stalking me currently? Is she like stalking me? Oh man, is she that type of girl? I thought she was gonna be like a vanilla type girl, but now she's like stalking me, trying to figure out all secrets about me. The trees parted before me, and a magnificent view of a small forest lake struck my eyes. Maybe Slavya is secretly like a yandere. Who knows? Oh boy. I was not expecting this. Wow. Then I noticed Slavya. She was skipping and fluttering about, letting her neckerchief loose and her shirt fly up in the air. The whole scene seemed more fantastic than of my own presence in this camp. Slavya looked like a spirit of the forest, or perhaps a nymph. She looked so natural, more like an ancient goddess than a human being. I remembered all the theological theories. Theological theories? It's great. Which I read some time ago. This reminded me of pantheism, the idea that God is in all that is, everything that we see around. What if it were not the aliens or time warp, but divine providence that brought me here? Indeed, Slavya mentioned that she loved nature. By the way, this song is great. I'm actually like I could like get some groove into it, like in this chair and just like move my arms around like woo, because this song is really good. It's very calming and peaceful. So it turns out that even she is an enigma, isn't she? Maybe the game specifically tried to make her seem normal and vanilla when you're going down everyone else's route, and then when you go down her route she's like spectacular. I don't know, that would be really good story writing though if it was like that. Slavya went into the water. I was ashamed, but I just couldn't take my eyes off of her. Silvery moonlight reflected off her wet skin. making Slavya look like an ancient Greek statue. The Venus de Milo, maybe. The scene was so fabulous that there was no room for carnal lust, only sublime admiration of true beauty. I was simply admiring the perfection of Slavya's form and forgetting everything else. Maybe. This isn't hell, but heaven. A branch treacherously snapped on my foot. Slavya turned around, but there was no way to recognize me in the darkness of the night. It was just an owl, or so it seemed. She rapidly rushed out of the lake, put on her clothes in a hurry, and vanished from sight into the forest. I quietly went after her. I am now veeerry stalking her. Wow. Slavya was quietly trailing among the trees, choosing the easiest paths and gracefully avoiding sheared trees, pits, and snags. It was a hard job to keep pace with her. Moreover, I definitely did not want to be caught. Firstly, peeping is just no good whatsoever, it's bad. And secondly, in fact, it still remains to be seen what she was doing here. Although it somehow seemed to be innocent enough, it didn't seem to have anything to do with my presence in this world. It was just innocent. It was nothing worth spying on. Just a lady getting half naked and dancing in a lake. Normal. At least we came out of the square. Slavya stopped and turned around to face me. Oh, she knew you were there the entire time. Did you think I didn't notice you? I was a bit confused, but I put on a mask of visible calmness. How long ago? I'm not sure. Slavya came closer. 5 minutes ago, maybe. So, even there at the lake? What lake are you talking about? Well, the one you were dancing very voluptuously in. Oh dear. That completely startled me. Woo! Oh man, that's gonna be a little bit of a... Oh dear. That was unexpected. But thank you whoever just followed, I guess. Slavya seemed to be sincerely surprised, so I simply couldn't figure out whether she was pretending that nothing has happened or... Well, never mind. I made up my mind to behave like a gentleman, as gentlemanly as possible in these circumstances. Like a sir, and nothing, and said nothing. Alright. Unexpectedly easily, she agreed. What a beautiful night. Slavya took a seat on a bench and looked up at the sky. I guess such nights are common here. Well, probably. Why so uncertain? I don't know, I just lost in thought. Thinking about what? The stars? No? She stared at me like she was looking for something on my face, but then went back to stargazing. Now and then I fall into such a mood at night. During the day I'm wrapped up in the work with no time to relax, while at night it's so quiet here. If it wasn't for the crickets and the night birds, one would feel like a face-to-face with the universe. For some reason I didn't think of Slavya as someone who would talk such about matters. As for me, it's even too quiet here. Isn't? Yeah, really. Anything wrong with that? Well... Alright. She stood up quickly and fixed her skirt. It's time to go to bed. It's nighttime. Good night. I watched her walk away. Our talk might have been about nothing, but it seems to me it had some deep and secret meaning which could appear only here, only next to Slavya. Seems like, even in my situation, such moments of peace and serenity are absolutely necessary. They make me feel united with the universe. I'd even say vital, especially now. I actually have a feeling this route's gonna be amazing. Just from this one part. I don't know how I skipped every single part that was like crucial to Slavya's route during my first Let's Play, but apparently I skipped everything, and it's good to see the mystical side of Slavya, I guess. Maybe it's good because I wasn't expecting it to be like this. It's like a mind trick on myself. I'm not sure how much time I spent sitting here, but after a little while I started to feel sleepy. For the first time today, I finally felt how tired I was. There was no light in the window, so old Goody Majestic must have been sleeping already. Strangely enough, she waited for me yesterday. I entered the cabin, quietly stripped, and laid on the bed. When you think about it, my situation hadn't gotten any clearer today. In fact, I've spent a whole day doing useless stuff. I would have never have even thought about doing something like this in the real world. Although I had plenty of time. How much time I would have here is a total mystery. I know. It's 7 days. maybe an eternity, and maybe there's only a few minutes left. I just didn't want to think about the past, about how I got to this camp. For the first time in forever, in a long while, I feel already tired. Not only emotionally tired, but also physically tired. Psychology tired, and God knows how else tired. I just wanted everything and everyone to shove off, starting with my own thoughts. Go away, thoughts, don't need you. I wanted to mess out, dear. I can't read it. Dictator, why are you playing Dota 2? I need to read, please. I wanted the mess somehow resolved by itself. Or at least without my active participation. And what if I'm stuck here forever? They don't have to get used to it. So just like that, I'm not ready. My consciousness slowly drifted away from me, and it became progressively harder to concentrate on something distinct. Perhaps it's better to wait until tomorrow. I rolled over and fell asleep. For some reason, I have never clicked these buttons, and that's why Slavya seems so vanilla to me. She never had any character development whatsoever. She's always the same. But it was all because I never clicked any of the choices that respond to her and show me anything mystical, like her dancing in the ocean or something like that. But I always choose the lesser of two evils, they say. Well, three in this case. Slavya wasn't evil at all, so my choice was obvious. Any rational being keeps his house clean, but I usually perceived house cleaning as somewhat akin to gym workouts. Yeah, it's good for you, but not my sort of thing at all. However, I like the ideas of painting benches or of helping two future genuises of Russian or Soviet science even less. Isn't that the same thing? Russian and Soviets? I don't know. Just different time periods. There were about a dozen pioneers of the square. Where did they all come from, I wonder? I approached Slavya, because that's who I was trying to look for. Hi there! Oh, hi! Have you come to help? Well, not of my own free will, of course. I was forced to come date you. I thought it over again. I see. Take this broom. It's dangerous to go alone. Your area is right next to the monument. Frankly speaking, there was nothing to sweep there. It seemed pretty clean to me, though some rubbish was still lying around. Within a flash of a screen, it was all cleaned up. After sweeping for a while, I came back to Slavya, who was sitting on a bench and taking a break. Oh dear, this sort of... the music is obviously about flirting, I can just feel it. What a nice day, eh? Yeah, thought that's a bit too hot. She shaded her eyes with her hand and looked up into the sky. You're like a tireless worker of a communist labor. Oh, come on, I just like to help others. That's good. And what about you? What about me? Well, it seems that you find community service a bit of a burden? Yes, probably. Why is that? I don't really know. Seriously, she can't expect me to unload all my ideas concerning this point on her, of all people. She may drown in them. God forbid. Maybe you just don't like company. That's actually quite possible, because he was a loner on his PC for, yeah, ever. There was some truth in Slavya's words. I suppose that she was good at reading other people's minds, or at least at reading mine. Though, how can that be possible, even if I find it hard to understand myself at times? What are you going to do when the session is over? What do you mean? Oh dear, the little box. Okay. In the USSR, a person finishing the high school typically had to choose between either getting a college degree, typically achieving a status of engineer or scientist, or going into secondary vocational school that's mastering a profession. That is good to know. Well, are you going to enter college or do you want to master a profession? I've already achieved grand mastery of all my professions, watching anime, surfing the internet. That sounds like my entire, schedule. I don't know yet, what about you? We all have a small farm back home, so I won't help my parents there. It sounded pretty strange. Are there any private farms in the... That again! Whoa! Oh boy, oh man, every single time that happens, wow. Are there any private farms in the USSR where all the farming has to be collective? But I decide not to go into details. And what are your parents doing? My parents were not a good subject for discussion. It is not that my parents are not good, and quite the opposite. They're kind of kind-hearted people. But it's not the right time for such a discussion. You know, I've never heard about this man's parents. For what I know, his parents died when he was born, and he was just like grown up inside of a computer or something like that, inside the case. My father works at the local council. My mother is a teacher. That wasn't actually true. More like half-truth. Cool. She really seemed to consider that a cool thing. Well, I guess so. The conversation had reached a dead end, so I was trying to take my eyes off Slavya and kept gazing under my feet, up in the sky or just looking around. You know, I'm pretty sure you'll also be fine. Slavya looked at me thoughtfully. Now, what was that for? And what was that also about? T. Hanks, I mumbled. What do you mean? I suppose that you happen to be too pessimistic at times. Isn't that way too, straightforward? Maybe. But you're gonna be alright. Maybe. After this conversation, I felt ill at ease. On the one hand, there was nothing special in her words. In general, almost any person in Slavya's shoe would come to similar conclusions. Nevertheless, I felt, and not for the first time, like she could see right through me. So, let's get to cleaning. Aha! She smiled and looked down at the broom. Oh, and took it as well. You know, I feel that Slavya is like super intelligent and knows how to meet people and stuff like that. I feel it. I never thought that cleaning could bring such a deep pleasure. So, no, I wasn't upset because of this conversation. On the contrary, I was glad to hear from her. For the first time ever, someone was discussing my life without criticizing me, without giving any stupid advice based on their own personal experience, without intending to go through my head, and without making some far-reaching conclusions. I was just glad that someone supported me. No, that's not quite right. I was just glad that Slavya supported me. I'm already like infatuated with Slavya? Wow, that was fast. It's only day 3. This is only the second time we've met, well, in the route section. This is only the second time, and we've already infatuated with it. That's great. In a short while, the music played around the camp, calling us for lunch. I put away the broom with a sigh of relief and a sense of accomplishment and went into the canteen. Who is marching forward in a row? And it is our pioneer squad. Pioneers in a row usually march to the canteen in the Silver Rock camp. I was looking for a place where no one would disturb me, like what happened before, so I can just eat in peace. And for that, I have to at least not be the last one to come. It is time for some amazing dancing times. As you can tell from the music, that is pretty funky, as well as the beautiful lights in the background there. I don't apparently make a choice. She immediately just like picks me up because I did not see it in the list of choices I need to make. So I am stopping here because it says this is new text and stuff. So I'm going to hit enter after I read this text, and hopefully I'll be like dancing with Slavya on like you know, the ocean again or something. Why would you come to a dance party if you'd rather sit tightly in a corner? It's not entering. There you go. Okay, no, wait, what? 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 What did I say? Maybe later? Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, but just a little bit. That's the spirit! She reached out her hand to me. We were standing in the middle of a dancing crowd. Well, in fact, it was me who was standing. Slavya was warming up, swaying to the beat. I was already blaming myself for agreeing to this uncomfortable proposal. Okay, here am I. Here am I? Here I am? Here I am! On the road again. And now what? I examined the dancing pioneers around me. Nope, I am not prepared for this. The music stopped abruptly. Some people were still dancing on the momentum, but the majority stopped. Do not panic! It's only music. The leader went to the DJ's panel and adjusted something there. Next song! Ladies invite gentlemen. I looked at Slavya. She stretched her hand out to me with a smile. You shouldn't refuse a girl. Oh yeah! Oy! We did it! Dance time. We danced a few moments. Her chest heaved faster and her face blushed more and more. Slavya stared into my eyes. I tried to look away at the dancing pioneers, or at my feet, or somewhere else. It's a strange feeling. My whole body shuddered from time to time, but it was a pleasant shudder, without any hint of uneasiness or shame. My mind became miraculously calm. I realized that I didn't want to let this girl go, and I'm ready to dance with her forever. Hopping next to us, Olyana stopped for a moment and smirked. Maybe I was seeing things, but I couldn't get rid of the thought that this insolent girl was trying to hint at something. I made a frightened face, but she was already gone. Is something wrong? Slavya asked quietly. Everything's fine. Also, I should probably point out that her eyes look weird. It looks like she's trying to seduce me, but it doesn't feel right in her character. And it just looks weird as well. Everything's fine. I mean, everything's great. I hadn't started stammering yet, but I was about to. You're so tense. A little, yeah. I said honestly. Boys don't like to dance. Guess so. She didn't say anything, she just smiled. The song eventually finished. I was still holding Slavya, but she easily slipped out of my grasp. Thank you for the dance. I should thank you. I stood and stared at her for some time. The next track started playing. One more? No, I'll rest. I used all my grooves up during that dance fine. I tried to leave the square as soon as possible. I don't remember how I ended up at the beach. Is this new? This is new still. I don't remember how I ended up at the beach. Why did I run away? It looked exactly like running away. The dance was nice and Slavya was pleased, but something wasn't right. I felt the disturbance in the force and like I felt restless just thinking about the ball. That's car. Maybe I just lost the grasp on the situation and got emotional. That happens rarely. I always tried to behave and calmly assess the situation. But did I manage it this time? No. You ran away instantly after dancing with her. That is not calmly assessing the situation. I sat in the sand and looked at the river. The full moon was hanging far above the water. Memories overwhelmed me. Oh. I am 6 years old. Me and my father are fishing. I cast my fishing rod clumsily and wait. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 10. No fish bite. Meanwhile, my father gets one after another. How do you do that? He explains, but now I don't remember all the details. I am 9 years old. A dark, incomplete building near a country house full of ghosts, vampires, and maybe just hobos. An unstable wooden ladder on the second floor, hanging above the abyss, the hole to the basement. I'm scared, but I still climb up and down this ladder every day. A brick falls my foot and I lose the toenail. I am 12 years old. My first victory in a video game tournament. We play console fighting game. An imaginary audience applauds my astonishing victory. It's competitive Halo in the olden days. I am 15 years old. I score several wonderful goals in my heel. A wonderful shot from 30 meters right away into the upper corner. I am 17 years old. My first love. Transient images. A shadow slipping away and vanishing in the city haze. I can't catch her among the buildings and corners. The fallen memories became more clear but less vivid. The images of my childhood and youth that I saw were unclear. They lacked details and I couldn't quite see the faces of people. Sometimes they just looked a lot like a canvas, covered with spilled paint. But the feelings of those hazy images were so much warmer than those of my more recent memories. So, I'm learning about my past self. I've never actually delved into the past. It's all been about the camp and the future, and I like this detour into the past, because of course, character development is key. There you are! Oh boy, what's with the change of graphics? But I love it. Wow, look at that! Whoa, my, that looks amazing. Oh dear, I'm just literally like look over the entire thing astonished about how good this looks. I mean, look at the reflection on the water, the clouds over the sun, and Slavya's face looks much more better than her old face. Everything just looks so much better. I look so majestic. Her gigantic ponytails are like flowing off, and that's amazing. Slavya leaned over me. I didn't get a fright. Why did you leave so soon? Just felt like being alone for a bit. It was like I hid in a shell. There was no outer world for me, and I responded the same way to all stimuli. I was like 3 monkeys. Hear no evil, see no evil, and speak no evil. Isn't it just beautiful? I would say so. Yes, it is. Slavya, look at the river. Yeah, it is. How about one more dance? No, thanks. I'm fine. Oh man, I am such a baka. Wow. Deep inside, I knew I shouldn't be so sharp with Slavya, but I was like a puppet on the string, forced to say things I would have never said under the other circumstances. What are you thinking about? Nothing. You can't think about nothing. She pouted her lips but smiled right after that, letting me know she wasn't offended. You're always thinking about something, even if you don't notice it. Maybe. So, what about thinking, what you be thinking about now? About owls. I said the first thing that came to my mind. Is this finally going to explain the overuse of owls and why they exist in this game? I hope so. Why owls? She laughed. Nope. I don't know. Have you ever seen any owls? Of course I have. What a silly question. Do you like them? They're just a bird like any other. A night bird. Slavya specified. Yeah, a night bird. A night bird. Imagine an owl, a little feathered bonk with huge blinking eyes. Are you a night owl? A what? You know, there are day larks and night owls. Some like to get up early and some like to sleep in. You mean like an early bird? I guess so. Her words brought me back to reality. I pictured my dusty room full of junk, a mountain of unwashed plates on the table, guitar rotting in the corner, necktie hanging from the lamp, and the pinnacle of all this, the heap of dirty socks under the bed. I was indeed a night owl. Night was my time, but somehow I was managing to get up early in this camp. I know. So what are you? A night owl, I guess. I like to sleep. And I am a day lark. The earlier you get up, the more you can do during the day. There's really nothing urgent for me to do, so I don't see any difference between day and night. Just quieter and calmer during the night. Slavya, don't you have any problems at all in your life? What do you mean? She wondered. You're always so joyful, so ready to help, so eager to start doing something. It is like nothing can upset you. Why? She laughed. I am just an ordinary person. That's right. Just an ordinary person in an ordinary place. I sometimes think that I'm a strange one here. Don't you like the camp? I mean, I don't really... what? I don't mean only the camp. In the previous, I stumbled. I shouldn't speak so frankly, even to her. Too. I think that I'm not like the others. It's not where I belong. Oh, stop that. It's silly to think so. I was closing myself off from the rest of the world just a moment ago, and now I was opening my heart to this girl. What's happening to me? No, really. You wouldn't pay any attention to me under any other circumstances. I am so different from you. I am lazy, unsociable, and have no outstanding talents. I would just be the last person you would notice in a crowd of a large city. Though for me, even going outside is rare. Semyon, you scare me. She looked at me seriously. I got embarrassed, but I didn't even avert my eyes. Am I wrong? Of course you are! You are you! There is no other person like you. You should just have some sort of self-esteem and patience, and you can do anything. No doubt about it. I look at the sky. If only everything could be as simple as you say. It's not difficult at all. Let's start right now. Start what? Changing. Just like that. How do you imagine we can do that? We should do something useful. For instance? Well, she thought for a moment. Let's clean up the square. The ball is already finished. Just the two of us? Would we be able to do all the work? There isn't that much to do. The first step is the most important. I can't argue with her on that point, but taking down the lighting from the trees in the dark, moving heavy audio equipment and sweeping, none of that was on my to-do list. but I didn't know how to nicely refuse her. Maybe we can do it tomorrow, with everyone. Why put it off until tomorrow? Wouldn't it be wonderful to stand in clean square during the lineup? First of all, I don't even like the lineups in general. Hey, I understand you, but this is too much. Slavya thought for a moment. Yeah, looks like you're right. Even I can't be right sometimes. And she can be wrong. Then, she stretched and yawned. Let's just sleep on it then. A nice idea, but I wanted to talk more. Isn't it too early? No. Slavya objected critically. You'll sleep all day tomorrow then. Tell me a bedtime story then. I blurted out the first thing that came to my mind. I know only the ones I read in books. You must know them too. Maybe I do. What a failure. Shall we go? She stretched out her hand to me. I'll stay here for a while longer. I need some fresh air. You can go. Good night. Good night. Slavya ran away. I wanted to enjoy my total defeat first. I couldn't stand being with her even a minute longer after that brilliant idea. Bedtime stories? What in the world? That's how some things are. You try to have a casual chat with a girl and it turns into a complete flop. I stared into the night sky. The stars, those small lights of distant suns, blinking perkily as if laughing at me. I turned over and buried my face in the sand. After a moment I realized that was another one of my bright ideas. About on par with asking for a bedtime story. I stood up, spitting grit, and went to the leader's cabin. My back itched all the way. Not only my back, my whole body. No wonder I haven't had a bath for several days. While it was really hot here during the daytime, so I sweat like a pig. I should find some soap and a towel. I can find everything and Olga to meet you at this cabin. After a couple of minutes, I was again at the square with my bag of bathing accessories. I have to find the bathhouse now. Oh hey, this is like the second time I've ever been here. This is great. It was easy. The building was just on the edge. Is Slavya for some miraculous reason going to be here? I don't know. It was really the best place for a bathhouse. I think there was no Blair Witch aside, but the lights were still on. And whose bright idea is that to have a bath at midnight? I muttered below my breath. There is only one problem. Is it a boy or it's Slavya? In the first case, we could just have a bath together without any worries. I am not fond of public baths, but I can hope I can cope with it this time. In the second case, I'll have to wait or scratch myself the whole night through. Who knows how long I have to wait. I peeped into the window, but couldn't see anything because of this theme. Suddenly, Slavya appeared right before me as if from a thick fog. Oh boy, I never... Oh dear, of course. I'm sure this is where the hentai patch would kick in, but it's not gonna happen. Naturally, she was naked, just like anyone else in the bath would be. Dumbstruck, of course, as guys tend to do, I stared at her. I had never seen a naked girl so close, even through glass. My cool. Nerve impulses traveled from my eyes down to my body. It seemed like I couldn't leave my observation point no matter what, even if a war broke out. But Slavya didn't notice me. She was washing herself leisurely, rinsing her head, rubbing her body with a sponge, and pouring water from a bucket on herself. Then she started to wash her hair. I can't imagine how much time she needs to wash it completely, but minutes flew like a seconds. Like a seconds? Like a second. That's how immersed I was in the sight. Finally, she finished washing, sighed in the satisfaction, and walked to the door. Oh boy, she's gonna run into me and I'm gonna completely freak out. I managed to come to my senses just at the moment she went in the changing room and left to hide in the nearby bushes. The best thing to do was not to tempt fate and leave, but I realized that too late. Slavya appeared on the porch after just a moment, stood there for a while, enjoying the night breeze, and walked in the direction of my hideout. She obviously has to know he was there, right? I'm sure that she just did it anyways. She, from previous knowledge, I believe she knew that he was there the entire time. I had a dozen excuses in my mind, but she went by without even looking at the bushes I was hiding in. Wow, looks like I'm lucky. I cautiously got out and went to Olga to meet you at the cabin. He didn't even... We didn't even go to the bath? Really? Completely forgetting about my intention to have a bath. Cool. I was totally exhausted and wanted to just fall in my bed and doze off. My eyes couldn't wait and were closing from time to time. It was dangerous even to blink. I still didn't know the camp well enough to walk there with my eyes closed. Suddenly, Slavya appeared before me. Hey, are you going to go to sleep? Well, yeah, actually I was. Right this moment, I remembered the sight in the bathhouse and averted my eyes shyly. And you? I'm cleaning up. She took the broom out from behind her back. Whoa! She was gonna do a solo! Wow! Wait, after she takes a bath, that doesn't make much sense. Slavya with the broom in the empty square at the night, like a witch from a children's fairy tale. What? Nothing. Is it really a good idea to clean the square after a bath? Yeah, exactly. Oh no! This is terrible. Oh boy. Oh, yeah, I would have made the exact same mistake as well. That's terrible. I wasn't even thinking about that. I physically felt the fear taking over my body. Cold sweat started to run down my back. My thoughts froze, so I couldn't think of any excuses. Slavya still stared at me in surprise. It looked like my life depends on this answer. Well, your hair's wet. Oh, you're right. Yeah, that has. Oh. I wanted the earth to swallow me up so I would vanish from this world just as suddenly and irreversibly as I had vanished from mine. Are you going to have a bath too? Me? Slavya looked at the bag in my hands. Yes, I am. Good night. I turned around and darted back towards the bathhouse. Oh dear. What a disaster. How shameful. I walked slowly, trying to curse myself for all that happened. I shouldn't have peeped in the first place. But if I peep anyway, then I must pay more attention and think of an excuse beforehand. Oh. Huh. It didn't take much time to wash myself. It looked like the night had made its own ball or possibly a concert. The stars were the lights. The birds and insects were the orchestra. And an owl hooting somewhere was its director. The sound of wind in the trees and the applause of the audience. I have to spend more attention to the owls. I'm probably eventually going to look back through all of my videos and Let's Plays and see every time an owl appears, and I'll have to just put together what the owls mean. And then it looked much more beautiful when you stay in the forest, clean and fresh. Also, there's that owl that appears right at the beginning of the game in your dream. That's a bit weird, right? I suddenly heard a noise in the bushes nearby. I shivered, but didn't get very scared. It may be a squirrel or another animal. Nevertheless, I should check it out. I went to the bushes, but didn't find anything or anyone suspicious. It just seemed, with a clean body and a calm spirit, I went to Luda's cabin. It seemed what? Seemly? Maybe. Olga Dmitrievna was already asleep. I went to bed without taking my clothes off and covered myself with a blanket. I couldn't fall asleep for a long time remembering naked Slavya, whose images could not be eclipsed by the thoughts of finding a something. Answers.